Okay, so you did a deep dive on olive oil, right?
Deep dive.
Okay, not sure why, but maybe we'll find out.
important.
Welcome to Talking with Docs. I'm Dr. Paul Zalzal.
Dr. Brad Wiener.
So Dr. Weaning did a deep dive on olive oil, its benefits, and where it comes from,
Yes.
how it's made.
Yes.
So we're gonna ask him some questions here and figure out, should we be increasing our olive oil intake?
So 100%. So the short answer is yes, this is really good for us. Stay to the end, we're going to talk about exactly what it does.
Yeah.
Let's start at the beginning.
Well, you just gave away, the whole thing's to keep people watching.
No, but they know it's good for you. They don't know why it's
Really?
good for them. They don't know if it's important to them.
I didn't know.
But it is important.
All right, okay, so let's start with how is
Okay.
olive oil made?
Okay, so olives are a fruit. Do you know?
Yeah.
First of all, do you know they're a fruit?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
because
seed in them.
they grow on a tree. They have a pit. They're
Yeah.
part of like that peach
Yeah.
family, cherry
Yeah,
family.
it could be apple oil.
It could be, I guess it could be. So
Or orange oil.
You harvest the olives.
Right.
You clean them.
Yeah.
And then you put them in a press.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you'll read on the labels or hear about, cold press or first press olive oil. So what they do is cold, ironically, is not that cold
No,
over there.
no.
It's below 20.
Not when you're talking about Canadian definition of cold.
That's right. I'm like 27 degrees Celsius. This is the threshold for
Yeah,
cold
right.
press. I'm like, that seems pretty warm.
That's warm.
We would embrace that right now because
Yeah.
it's cold right now. So cold press is below 27 degrees, and they actually put it in a press where it crushes the flesh, even the pit, and then slowly the olive oil is extracted, and then sometimes, depending on the paste that's created, they can
Right.
slowly churn that to get more of the olive oil out.
Okay, and one thing I've always wondered about is, you've got virgin
Yep.
olive oil, you got extra virgin olive oil.
Yeah,
That's certainly not the same with people, right?
Right.
Virgin or not virgin, but olive oil,
Yeah.
how do you get these different distinctions?
Right, so there's a body, just like in a lot of agricultural disciplines where they regulate the quality of the olive oil. So extra virgin is the highest quality.
Okay.
Yes, and what it means is that the acidity of that olive oil is 0.8% or less.
Okay, so it's all about the acidity.
It's all about the acidity, and this relates to the quality, the taste, exactly.
Okay, we're talking about the pH of the olive oil.
Yes, if it is 2% or below, then that's considered virgin olive oil, and everything above 2% is called refined olive oil. It's not that it still doesn't have some of the benefits of olive
right.
oil, it just has less.
Nobody wants to hang out with that olive oil. I get
Well,
it.
they do because it's going to be a little bit cheaper.
Okay.
And sometimes it's a little bit better for cooking because of its smoke point, stuff like that. But because of things like oxidation, it is lower quality.
All right. So
All right.
we're talking about the pH 0.8 or 2%. Those
Yes.
are your cutoffs for
Virgin, extra virgin.
and just regular.
There you go.
Everybody
Refined.
else. Everybody else.
Yeah, and sometimes those other refined ones can be blends of a lower quality and higher quality olive oil, or
Okay.
even two different kind of olive oils.
Okay, you're losing me now. So
Okay,
let's move on.
So let's talk about research has looked into how much olive oil you should have.
How much?
Yeah,
Okay.
so the studies have ranged kind of a 1 tablespoon a day all the way up to like 4, and this has been either included in your cooking or even just like a shot. And this is becoming a thing right now around social media where people, particularly middle-aged people that are becoming more health conscious and concerned about their longevity, just
Yeah.
like Brian Johnson,
Yeah.
are drinking olive oil like shots.
Yeah, that's weird. But you can put on your salad.
You can.
No, what do you got to drink it for?
You certainly can, and what's nice about that is that because you're not cooking it,
Yeah.
the properties of the olive oil are not degrading.
Yeah, you take the olive oil, some salt, a lime. Boom.
There you go. It's not as fun as some people would say for tequila,
Right.
but it's becoming a thing. So,
Okay.
calorie-wise though, it's pretty calorically dense because it's pure
what I've
fat,
heard.
right?
That's
So
what
this
I've
is a monounsaturated fat, and what that means is that there is one double bond there, and it has being unsaturated
Yeah.
makes it healthier.
Okay, I'm saturated with the olive oil
Conversation.
preparation and what it is. I want to know the health benefits.
Just wait,
of
I'm
that.
not there yet. Okay, so
Killing me.
oleic
I need a
acid.
shot- I need a shot of olive oil right now to make it through this.
We should have done one in the morning. That would actually been good for the video.
Oh, not good for us.
Oleic acid is the primary monounsaturated fat that is responsible for a lot of the health benefits. So before we get to the health benefits
Right.
specifically, how to use it. So yes, you can use it cold, use it on a salad, use it for cooking. If you're gonna use it for cooking in like a fry pan, you wanna make sure that it's not in really high heat. So we talk about smoke point with oils. We have a couple other videos about different oils to use and stuff like
Yeah.
that. The smoke point for olive oil is 375 degrees.
Okay.
So it's not super hot.
No,
a
you
lot of
can
people are like,
get
well,
that going.
how am I possibly going to know if my fry pan's 375?
Put your finger in it.
No, do not put your finger in it because it'll just be hot or not hot.
Okay.
So a little tip that I learned is that you can splash some drops of water in there.
Okay.
If it immediately kind of disintegrates, that's like 375.
This is before you put the oil in or after?
Yes, before. You're testing
Okay.
the
So
temperature
you're
of
at
your
the
fry
pan.
pan. So you turn it on to medium heat, let it sit there for a sec, splash a little water in there.
Yeah.
So if the water immediately evaporates, that's around 375 degrees.
Okay.
Ironically, if it dances around like little balls, because of what's happening at the molecular level for the oxygen and this little vapor that's forming, that is hotter. It's like
Okay.
400 to 450 degrees.
Okay.
And then if the water just sits there,
Yeah.
you're lower than 375, your pan's too cold.
Okay. There you
Okay,
go. Now you know how
so-
to heat your pan.
Now you know how to heat your
watching
pan.
Talking
If you're
with
going to use, if you're going to use olive oil, now you know how to heat your pan. But the trouble is, you're like, why does the smoke point even matter? Well, A, you got smoke. And this is not good for us. It
smoke's
has
not good.
toxic substances that are bad for us, and it also changes the taste of your
Yeah.
food.
Where there's smoke, there's fire or bad oil.
Right. So if you want to go hotter, maybe consider avocado oil. Okay. Lastly, but not
Please,
leastly,
with the
because
health benefits.
we're getting there. Okay.
Okay.
All those expensive, so we want it to last. We don't want it to spoil.
No, especially the extra virgin.
Right. So you need to keep it out of the light
Yeah.
and not exposed to air, because these are the things that cause oxidation. They cause aging of all of us, even us. If we could keep us in a vacuum, not exposed to light other than the vitamin D
air.
consequences, or air,
Yeah.
we could probably last longer. So dark glass bottle or a tin
Yeah.
with an airtight lid.
It's like a gremlin.
Probably can last 6 to 12 months.
Okay, so you got your half a year to a year out of your olive oil.
Yes.
If anybody's still with us and watching the video, we're now going to talk about the health benefits.
Okay, just one last thing.
No more things.
Because it's really expensive. And do you know what the global olive oil market, you know what it's worth? We talk about this a lot in all of our different supplements and things like that.
$1 billion.
How about 15 billion? And going up 4% a year compounded. Okay, so now let's get to health benefits. I'd say there are 3 kind of specific system-based benefits and then 2 kind of general benefits. So
Okay.
number 1,
The heart. Let's start
we
with the
always
heart.
hear about this,
Heart.
right?
That thing that pumps blood. No bones in it, so we don't really concern ourselves.
Right, so
too
everyone
much
talks
with
about the
things.
Mediterranean diet, and this is because olives are actually grown primarily in the Mediterranean.
Okay.
So Italy, Greece, Spain is number 1 producer, but also Portugal, even Turkey a little bit.
Okay. Thanks, grade 11 geography teacher.
So
People who didn't know what the Mediterranean.
right, well, I know, but that's where the olives are made. So these people eat the Mediterranean diet. They have a lot of olive, a lot of fresh fruits, nuts, seeds, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it helps the heart. How does it do this? So ironically, the oleic acid, or this monounsaturated fat, actually increases our body's ability, particularly the liver, to take up LDL cholesterol.
Okay. Problem.
Yeah.
My cholesterol is going to go up. Why am I going to take olive oil if my cholesterol?
It's going to make it go down.
Okay.
Because the receptors on the liver that take up LDL actually get upregulated, so you take up more of the LDL out of the system, and it actually makes less LDL. Because a lot of our LDL is made by our cholesterol. So that's the number 1 benefit. It also increases your HDL a little
Okay,
bit.
so LDL is going down, HDL is going up, so that helps your ratio,
Helps
which,
your heart.
if you're one of the people that believes
Yeah, don't
the
get
thousands
people
of studies that are out there that have shown that's bad for your health, then,
Yes.
then you'll be happy with
Number 1, heart healthy,
Okay.
your LDL's down. Number 2,
Okay. My brain. Tell me about my brain.
Okay.
Are there any sort of mechanisms by which this could help brain health?
Right, so oleic acid, this monounsaturated fat that we talk about, helps stabilize membranes and neuron sheaths and structures that are critical for our neurological function. There are also some studies that show that people that have higher olive oil intake lower their amyloid plaques. So
And you'll remember amyloid plaques are thought to be implicated in disorders like Alzheimer's disease and other neurodegenerative disorders.
Right.
So that could be helpful. Now again, there's been no clinical study looking at olive oil and the outcomes in terms of health. That I'm
no,
aware
these are observational studies.
Yeah.
So
there's no like randomized controlled trial that's going to show people who took olive oil, people who didn't intake olive oil, the one did better or worse or whatever.
not for the nerve stuff, but for the heart stuff there is.
Yeah, no, I
Where
mean
they-
for
yes.
Alzheimer's
No,
or
unfortunately not.
neurodegenerative diseases and things like that.
Yes. And to be honest, then I was like, okay, well, if that's true, do they have way less Alzheimer's and dementia over there? So apparently, because there are so many confounding variables,
Yes.
it becomes very hard to tease out. And we've talked about this before. That's the trouble with observational studies. You think, well, then how come people in Portugal don't have way less dementia?
Right.
Well, because of other factors like potentially smoking or other lifestyle factors or food, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, number 3.
Let's talk about inflammation. Inflammation is big. It plays a role in just about every part of body dysfunction that you can think of
Yep.
nowadays, from gut to our atherosclerosis,
Yep.
kidney disease. Inflammation seems to be the hottest topic in health right now.
Sure.
So does this have any anti-inflammatory properties?
It sure does. So because of a compound called oleocanthal, which is what's called a polyphenol, it's an organic compound that has this benzene ring with a little hydroxyl group for those people that are super interested or trying to forget about chemistry. And oleocanthal helps reduce the effect of cyclooxygenase, which is an enzyme
Right.
that helps affect COX-1 and COX-2, just like ibuprofen.
Right. COX-1, COX-2. You may recognize some of the anti-inflammatory pharmaceuticals that you might use
Yep.
are selective COX-2 inhibitors.
Yep.
Or the generic sort of anti-inflammatories are COX-1 and COX-2 inhibitors, because the COX 1 and COX-2 play an integral role in the inflammatory pathway. So inhibiting their function reduces inflammation in the body.
So it has natural anti-inflammatories.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, all right.
And we know the inflammation affects our heart and our brain, right? So that's kind of comes
Yeah.
back to number 1 and number 2 as well.
So anti-inflammatory is a big thing
Yep.
right now in health. The next one that you'll hear about and everyone's talking about is antioxidant.
Right.
And we even made a video on antioxidants.
We
okay?
did. And a lot of people are like, well, what's oxidation? What are free
Well, you gotta
radicals?
go back to high school chemistry for that.
What does it matter? So in general, our electrons want to stay close to the nucleus and they need to be paired. They need to be in a stable formation. So when compounds have a single electron, that electron is looking to steal electrons from other things.
Yeah, you have a valence shell. When that valence shell is complete, you're stable, but you're trying to gain or give away an electron to have a stable valence.
Right. So extra virgin olive oil has something called hydroxytyrosol, which is an antioxidant. It has an electron that is relatively easily donated to help mop up these free radicals. And so what that does, it helps reduce the degradation of cells and or even our DNA, helps reduce anti-aging properties.
Okay, so olive oil is going to keep me young?
It's good, yes, and it's going to reduce your risk of chronic disease.
Okay, so it has antioxidant properties.
Yeah.
So far we've covered some heart health, some brain health, some anti-inflammatory properties.
Yep.
We've also talked about
Give
antioxidant
me some of this
properties.
stuff now.
The next big thing that everyone talks about in health
Yes.
is your blood sugar.
Right.
Okay? And I heard a guy talk about that years ago, I think in medical school. He was saying, this is going to be the next measure.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, way ahead.
Herschel.
Rather than just focusing on fat.
Herschel was his first name.
Yeah.
And he was, he just said, glucose, it's not going to be like you got diabetes, you don't got diabetes. It's going to be like a spectrum of blood sugar.
Right, so a combination of what your blood sugar level is, how your body responds to insulin, because even when you have insulin sensitivity, for a little while, your body just sends so much extra insulin just to get you that effect.
Right.
And so with respect to extra virgin olive oil, it actually improves your insulin sensitivity. So the amount of insulin you have and the receptors that it binds to uptake sugar from your bloodstream into the cell is upregulated, so it improves your blood sugar control.
All right, so safe to say your deep dive has revealed that we're going to get some heart benefits, some brain benefits, some anti-inflammatory benefits, some antioxidant benefits, and it's going to help regulate your blood sugar.
Honestly, no brainer for me. To the point where 2 days ago, I drank a little bit of olive oil.
I do not doubt it one bit. Just right out of the bottle?
No, in like a tablespoon, because I wanted to measure it. Because it's 120 calories per tablespoon.
Yeah.
It's actually a lot of calories. So if you're going to do this, you need to think, okay, well, what's my total caloric intake? How can I budget this in? And actually,
that's a lot of calories.
Remember we talked about that Brian Johnson guy and his longevity pursuit. He used to do 2 tablespoons a day, but I think he reduced it just because he's so focused on caloric restriction that became complicated.
Yeah, Brad, why are you 300 pounds? I did a deep dive on olive oil.
That's right. Look, I'm not inflamed though. I look good.
No, you'll be calmest guy with the sharpest brain, great heart, great blood sugars. You're just going to be bigger.
Right. So now you know. Hopefully, you've learned something about the benefits of olive oil. How to maybe look in the supermarket to try to find an olive oil that's of good value. I think if you're going to be using it, ideally for health benefits, try to stay on the virgin or extra virgin side. The refined stuff you can use for cooking. And now you know how to store it. You can talk to your friends around the water cooler. Hey, Bob, what's your olive oil situation these days?
We're going to friend's house for dinner tonight. I'm not bringing a bottle of wine.
That's right. You know what? That's actually a nice gift, a really nice bottle of extra virgin olive oil.
Right.
And if you like this video, please like it, subscribe to our channel, leave a comment about olive oil or your diet practices, and share it with a friend who's interested in stuff like this.
Remember, you are in charge of your own health.
We'll see you next time.